Greetings and welcome to the MOEToday Manifestation Series. Let me get my music. I'm supposed to have this queued up before I even start, right? Welcome to part 7 of the MOEToday Manifestation Series. And tonight we're going to talk about the laws of cause and effect and visualization. So I'm excited to get started. We got a lot. I told you all that chapter 7 was a big chapter and that we had a lot to cover. So come on in the room. Let me say something over here. So welcome everyone. We're only going to wait about a minute or two on everybody tonight because we got a lot to cover and a lot to go over. So I hope you all joined and enjoyed the MOEToday series on Black Muslim businesses yesterday. We had an amazing conversation with a Black-owned non-alcoholic winery and orchard. I guess it's not really a winery, but they're a wine company. They specialize in non-alcoholic wines, and it's called Magnolia Crescent Orchards. So I was very excited about that. So welcome. Come on in. We'll give it a couple of minutes. But we had a good time. Great conversation. Brother Anthony and Sister Karima. I was just really honored to have that conversation with them. They're such a great couple, beautiful energy. And it was so much fun to talk to them. Did y'all have a good time at Savior's Day? For those of you who all attended, I know that the replay is out there. I haven't brought myself to be able to watch the replay yet. I don't know. I was emotional the entire week and during the entire lecture, so it was challenging to me. But I'm at the point now where I think I might be able to at least check it out. All right. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started in a couple of minutes here. A couple people are texting me. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Y'all like my little instrumental music? Okay. All right. So let me just welcome you all. Let me do this properly. I'm on here a little discombobulated and acting silly. It's because I just was having such a good high energy day. I've been excited about it. Let's stop our music. All right, so assalamu alaikum, or peace be unto you. As many of you know that we in the Nation of Islam, we say peace be unto you. Greetings everyone. Welcome to the MOEToday, or the Mind of an Entrepreneur Today series on manifestation, based upon the book written by Charles F. Hannell called The Master Key System. And this series is an extension of my brand, The Mind of an Entrepreneur Today, or MOEToday for short. I developed this series back in 2011 and made it a part of my weekly radio broadcast. And it became the foundation for the second half of the Mind of an Entrepreneur book. And so, since I know a lot of people don't read, I say, you know what, let's just recreate it as a series. And so that's what I ended up doing. So the first time I did this was back in 2011, and I just decided to bring it back. So the Mind of an Entrepreneur brand of products and services explores mental strategies and offers free game on how to navigate the world of business. I offer a unique approach to business that combines traditional disciplines with consciousness. I am an international businesswoman, an industry disruptor, global thought leader, philanthropist, and master business and real estate developer. And I'm striving to become a God and a powerful manifester. So thank you for being here this evening. I'm excited to take this journey with you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page if you haven't done so already. I know how y'all like to check things out later. And that's what I love about you guys being able to do that on YouTube, because I see a certain number of us online during, and then all of a sudden I look at the stats and I'm like, whoa, either y'all looking at this over and over again, or a couple hundred people are coming back and taking a look at it. But either way, I'm excited because, my goal is to help marginalized people around the world gain access to tools and strategies that will help us to become stronger, healthier, happier, wealthier, and to experience more love. And I'm working to build a model using mental strategies that will help make doing for self infectious. All right. So for those of you, wa alaikum salam to everyone in the chat. Greetings, greetings. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Um, we're studying this book, The Master Key System. Like I said, written by Charles F. Hannell. It's a beautiful book on self-mastery. And while this is a great, great title for this book, I have to say it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad holds the master key. He's given us so much more supreme wisdom and has given us the most advanced knowledge available on the planet today. And books like this one are interesting, and I love them because they can help us to break down some of the advanced wisdom, just like our science and math books help us break down some of the advanced science and mathematics and astronomy that he gave us. So, but before we go into the art of visualization, all right, let's quickly discuss the law of cause and effect. Let me just give you some background why I thought it was a good idea to cover this today. And that is because so many people, I see them, they book these one-on-one sessions with me. They come out and they talk to me about what they're going through, but they're really focused on the effect or the condition. And rarely do they go to the cause. And a lot of people are, students of the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. So they know that they should be understanding the law of cause and effects. But a lot of people have a hard time emotionally putting themselves in a position where they really decide to go to the root cause of what they're going through. So I think this is an important discussion, and I generally couple it with the art of visualization in my workshops. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching session or a workshop for your company or organization, just send an email to mindofanentrepreneur@gmail.com. Also, make sure that you like and subscribe to the page, like I've been telling y'all, so that you're alerted anytime we post a video and you have immediate access to these mental strategies. Many of you have heard me talk about how there are a lot of mastermind groups, next level spiritual groups, and other mental strategy sessions offered by the broader community that are really just not marketed to us. You see, the assumption is that there is not a market within our community that is interested in advanced levels of thinking and mental strategies. So not only are these types of circles not available to us, but if they are, then the costs are upwards to $50,000 per session. And I've been blessed to be included in some of these types of advanced thinking, mental strategy workshops and think tanks. And I've received certifications and completed many courses. And I decided that instead of holding this type of information to myself, I would share it with my people, especially those who may not have the ability to pay upwards to $50,000 per session for this type of mental strategic planning. So that's why I'm bringing this to you. Wa alaikum salam. So many of us have heard of the law of cause and effect, and many more of us know the definition. But let me begin with the basic definition. So somebody type in the chat, the law of cause and effect. All right. It's a universal law that specifically states that every single action in the universe produces a reaction no matter what. Every single effect within our world upon our earth has a cause, an original starting point. So this is pretty common and clear to many of us, and we get it in theory. But do we understand it practically, and can we weave this law into our lives, primarily into our thinking? You see, there is no way that you can do anything without having something come of it. Let me say this again. There is no way that you and I can do anything without having something come of it. We live in a world today where we think that there are only reactions to what we do in context or related, whether or not we do something wrong and we get caught. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that there is no way that we can do anything without having something come of it. I hope y'all understand that. When you're trying to change your life or create specific results, you need to know what causes what. Okay? As long as you don't have command over cause and effect, your life will feel out of control and the world seems unpredictable, even chaotic in the way it works or doesn't seem to work. So here's what happens. We see something happen and we don't acknowledge that we are witnessing the effect of something. Like crime goes up, we have a bunch of failed relationships, we can't seem to earn money, for example. I use these examples because we're talking about manifestation here on this series. So when we see the effect, we oftentimes go after the effect. So we may find that there are a number of, for example, employees who are leaving our company or our organization, or an increasing number of disengaged or unengaged employees or members of our organization. So we focus on the fact that people are not engaged and we analyze the dollars we use or the work we can't get accomplished. In our personal lives, for example, let's say that we just can't seem to get our business off the ground. So we keep rehashing our failed businesses and analyzing them over and over and over and talking about it to anybody who will listen. We wallow in the effect or the current condition, which in fact is the effect of something. Remember, when you're trying to change your life or create specific results, you need to know what causes what. You got an idea in your head? You need to know what causes what. Somebody put that in the chat. You got to know what causes what. We have to figure out why we can't pay our bills. What is the reason? Why are people leaving our company? Why are people in our organizations disengaged? We can look at any condition, and in order to solve it or change it, we must understand what has caused that condition in the first place. When I began to study emotional intelligence, I studied a number of schools of thoughts in an effort to diversify my approach to the subject for myself and my corporate clients. My goal was and is to leave people with tools, something tangible that they can use to improve their lives. My goal is to be an asset to everyone that crosses my path. My contribution to your life could be as small as a smile, or as large as saving your life or introducing you to a new way of thinking that changes the trajectory of your life. There was one school of thought that teaches that there are 7 levels of cause and effect, 7 levels to the law of causation. Now, these 7 levels of cause and effect are interesting because I see a direct correlation between those levels and what we've been taught about how to think by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You have to look at this man scientifically so you understand the mindset that he introduced. If you look at him in a shallow, media-based way, you miss the true value of his presence. In fact, if you continue to look at anything in a shallow pop culture kind of way, you will miss the overall value. This is a habitual way of thinking that must be broken. See, I study people. I love documentaries and docudramas because I'm always trying to figure out what made someone tick and why they function in a particular way. So I study. I don't accept the pop culture view of these historic people who were pivotal in our development because I understand the mindset from which that history is being fed to us. I understand the historical lens with which they are viewed. In the case of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the condition that this mindset produced and ultimately the students that it produces are often overlooked. So to write him and many others out of history for fear that they will change our thinking and stop us from being unwilling participants stop us from being willing participants in a predatory capitalist world is so common. Well, let's break this down. All right. Y'all all right? Walaikum salam, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's break this down. Let's go through the levels of cause and effect. There's 7 of them because there are steps or levels that we move through before we get to a specific condition. The idea here is to teach us to go to the root as he taught us to do, or to go to the cause and not wallow or worship per se the effect. Okay. And let me before I go into these 7 levels, let me say this. See what happens to us, we get into a certain condition or a certain state of mind, or we experience a certain effect. And what we do is we get on the phone and we start calling our people and talking to everybody. We start researching the effect. We literally almost worship the effect. Can y'all relate to that? Tell me in the chat if you can relate to that. You worship the effect, but nobody stops to think, or rarely do we stop to think, is what's causing this? We go to the doctor, they give us a pill to address the effect. But it's not very common that they say, well, here's what caused it. It's just, oh, you broke out, here's a cream. Oh, you're sick to your stomach, here's a pill. Oh, this and that, got a headache, here's another pill. Not what caused the headache. When I work with our surgical center, our micro hospital in Maryland, people come in and say, oh, I had a stroke. And the first thing I would see my business partner say, well, why'd you have a stroke? And they go, I don't know. See, it's important to get to the root. If you don't get to the root, you can't change the effect. You can't adjust the condition. Surface knowledge. Yeah. All right. So here's the 7. The first step in the law of causation is identification. Who you think you are. That's identification. Who you think you are. Who are you? This is the basis of the first level of the law of causation, or the law of cause and effect. Who you think you are, or how you identify yourself. That's heavy. Who do you think you are, and how do you identify yourself? In this case, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught the Black man and woman who we are. He changed our identity from colored, Negro, or former slave to Black, original, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. He made us see ourselves as brothers and sisters. Well, what effect did that newfound identity have on our condition? Talk to me in the chat. What effect does a new identity have on you? What effect? If you thought that you were just a former slave, or a sharecropper, or you were restricted on where you could go and live, or you lived in a constant state of inferiority, thinking that you are not beautiful, or that you had no connection to a continent or to God himself, what effect do you think this change of identity had upon our mindset? See, this is how he was making these great students that we love so much. He was addressing a cause, changing their identity, because we were considered blind, deaf, and dumb, with no knowledge of self, of God, or the devil. There was an effect. He went to the root and changed our identity. That was the first step in activating the law of causation. Here's the second step. First step was identification. Write that down, put that in the step. Step 1, identification. Step 2, interpretation, or what you think things mean. Second step, to activate the law of causation, or understanding the law, or using the law of causation, is interpretation, or what you think things mean. So he explained to us the meaning of Blackness and why he called us Black and not Negroes or colored. He told us the meaning of the sun, moon, and stars, freedom, justice, and equality. He didn't leave much up to interpretation. He gave us the meaning in clear and plain language. Again, this is all very metaphysical and ties to the laws of the universe. He taught us the reality of God and what the impediments to our progress were and still are. Who is this person that is lynching us? Who is this person that is redlining us? Who is this person that is putting us in chain gangs? Who is this person that made us think that Jesus and everyone in the Bible is white? Who is this person that preys on our community? Who is this person that denies us freedom? Who is this person? How should we interpret this? Who designed this system that we are working to unravel? Why do these systems contain biases? Should it be interpreted that this is happening to us because we are cursed or because we are Black? Should it be interpreted that we are not worthy of freedom, justice, and equality? Should it be interpreted that our lives are less valuable? How should this be interpreted? That's the second level of the law of cause and effect, interpretation. Here's the third one. The third one is belief, or what you believe about yourself, others, and the universe. Third step is belief. Well, the trauma of abuse created a belief system, a dependent mindset. So he gave us a belief system that clearly defined what we believed about ourselves, others, and not only what we believed about the universe, including the origin of the moon, but he gave us the measurements of many components of the universe. He rooted us in mathematics. How important is that? It's so that our belief would be grounded in mathematics or in a formulaic science that could be proven at any time, so that we would break the habit of believing in something that didn't make mathematical and scientific sense. He wanted us to believe in something that was solid and did not change with moods or trends or systemic biases. This is why the deep study of mathematics is so very important. This study gives us the ability to compete and move throughout the world. That's why we must make sure that our children understand advanced mathematics as well. The entire universe is based upon mathematics. Building, developing, construction, all things that are rooted in mathematics. So he made sure that our beliefs about ourselves and others and the universe are based upon actual facts. Here's number 4. Number 4 is orientation. This means where you are coming from, your mood or your attitude. Orientation. Now, each of these steps that I have given you here produce an orientation or a set point. Think about using your GPS system. Okay, you have to start somewhere. You have to know where you are, or your GPS has to be able to calculate. There go that mathematics again. It needs to be able to figure it out so that you can receive accurate directions towards your destination. So he reorientated us. He gave us a new set point. He gave us a new way of thinking that didn't start us off at a deficit. He leveled the playing field by giving us a new set point. This is metaphysical. This caused our mind to think in a way that creates a vibration that is aligned with the laws of the universe. Yes. Number 5, intention. What is your purpose or motivation? Number 5 is intention. What is your purpose or motivation? These are the 7 steps to activating the law of causation. Intention is number 5. What is your purpose or motivation? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a purpose in life. Well, what is the motivation? Okay, well, freedom, justice, and equality, and Islam as a way of life. That's why he told us who God is, who we are, and gave us supreme wisdom. These are metaphysical processes that will help us to manifest, and that can be used to develop a strategic plan for our businesses and our organizations. What is our intention? Our intention is not rooted in evil, hatred, or murder. What is our purpose? What are we determined to do? I want you to think about those questions. Y'all blowing up this chat. I can't keep up with y'all. Here's number 6. Number 6, put this in the chat. It's action. What are we doing? Action. What are we doing? The 6th step to activating the law of causation in our life is, what are we doing? Well, we're talking here about doing for self, right? We're separating ourselves. physically and spiritually. We are improving ourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. These are actions. What actions are you taking as an organization or as a company to solve internal problems, change conditions, or produce a different effect? What actions are you taking to solve problems in your community or even in your own personal life? Or are you just complaining about the effects? Or are you taking action to make a difference? And here's the last step. It's the effects. What are the results of what you are doing? And based upon the strategic plan that you've developed using these steps are the effects or conditions of that plan. What we jokingly say in the Nation of Islam is that you just look at our before and after photos and you will see the effects. Look at how many of us looked before we went through these steps and look at us now. We put down the intoxicants. We began to manage our engagement with creative things. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We are mindful of how we use our tongue. No gossip, slack talk, slander. We work on self-improvement. The effect of that is a more civilized person, a greater contributor to society, a classier, more peaceful person, a people who knows their worth. See, these are steps to prevent us from regurgitating a problem in our head over and over again and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. Remember, what we focus on expands. Put that in the chat. What we focus on expands. What we focus on expands. So if we are focused on an effect or an undesirable condition, what will we get more of? So instead of yelling, just say no to a condition. What would happen if we follow these steps to help us strategically develop a new cause that will ultimately create a new effect? What would happen if we use this process to find solutions to problems in our businesses and in our lives? Y'all got to come back and listen to this again so y'all can write down all those steps. But let's jump on into the study questions before we do that. I want to give us a few excerpts that I highlighted from part 7 of this great book, The Master Key System. All right. Here's a big one. The author said that visualization, somebody type the word visualization in the chat for me. Because now we're going to move into our conversation about visualization. Okay. Visualization is the process of making mental images, and the image is the mold or model which will serve as a platform from which your future will emerge. Ooh, y'all didn't hear that? Visualization is the process of making mental images, and the image that you just made is the mold or the model that will serve as a pattern. You know, like when you sew, you cut out a pattern from which your future will emerge. How many of you have had the experience of seeing something in your mind's eye and then having it manifest in the physical? Say something in the chat. If you've experienced that magical feeling of having something in your mind's eye and then holding it in your hand or viewing it with your mind or touching it. Now, the author gives us instructions on how to visualize that I won't go into here. You got to read part 7. But here's a statement that he concludes the visualization instructions with. He said, work is necessary. Sorry, y'all. Work is necessary. Put that in the chat. Work is necessary. The 7 steps is the effects. Work is necessary. Labor, hard mental labor, the kind of effort which so few are willing to put forth. Type that in the chat. Work is necessary. But unfortunately, so many of us are really afraid of true work. We are ashamed of work. We don't want anyone to see us working hard. We want to look like we already got it like that. We're afraid of being tired. You're not going to die if you're tired. You're not going to die if you don't get no sleep. Most of us are not working hard enough to bring ourselves to the type of physical exhaustion that produces death anyway. To work is the activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, work. Work cheerfully. When you're tired, work. When you need something, work. When you want something, work. Try and make something happen, work. Most of us run out of oxygen, though. We run out of oxygen before we even see any results. We can't hang on a long-term basis. How much work are you putting in? You say you want this business. You say you want this great relationship. You say you want to lose weight. You say you want to be better. You say you want to improve, but how much work are you putting in? What are you doing? You can't be a champion if you're not willing to work at it. Next week, we're going to go deep into a different subject. We're going to talk about the mind of a conqueror. And we're going to talk about the mental strategies of a conqueror in conjunction with part 8. That's a little spoiler alert for y'all. You guys hear me asking y'all all the time, are you putting in the mental and spiritual labor? Are you putting in the mental and spiritual labor? All right, let's get to these study guide questions. Y'all all right over here in the chat? Yep. All right. All right. So number 61, we're on part 7. So the study guide questions are numbered consecutively. The first study guide question in part 7 is number 61. What is visualization? The author asked that question. What is visualization? And the answer he gives is, it is the process of making mental pictures. Put this in the chat. Visualization is the process of making mental pictures. Visualization is the process of making mental pictures. Now, we went over that definition already. Visualization is the process of making mental images, and the image is the mold or model which will serve as a pattern from which your future will emerge. You must have a vision for your life. Say that to yourself. I must have a vision for my life. I must have a vision for my business. Because if I don't have a vision, I'll fall victim to someone else's vision for my life and for my business. How about that? Here's number 62. What is the result of this method of thought? And the answer is, by holding the image or picture in mind, we can gradually but surely bring the thing nearer to us. We can be what we will to be. You see, when you have a vision in your mind, you will be guided to certain places. You'll be guided to talk to certain people. You'll be guided to move in a certain way because your vision is working itself to materialize. And as you work and put in the labor, it will become clearer and clearer. And as long as you don't entertain doubt, always know that it is possible. But don't become obsessed with keeping score and double checking to see how much progress you've made. Keeping score by doing things like comparing yourself to someone else or measuring how far you've come. Just keep working and being grateful, visualizing and focusing on what you want. You don't have to keep talking about where you came from, because when you do that, you have to keep revisiting the vibrational cause of the condition you are working to improve. The more you keep revisiting and keeping score, the harder it will be for you to move forward. Settle on the best part and keep praying for more and more success and being grateful no matter what. As soon as I open my eyes in the morning, I say thank you. If I can't think of nothing else to think, I just say thank you. When I have thought so much and been so busy throughout the day, I say, God, I'm so sorry. Please just let every breath I take be a breath of gratitude. And then I go about my business of working cheerful. But I understand that I must work. And as a God, I know when I need a little relaxation. I know when I need to back off. I know when I need to recalibrate myself. Here's number 63. What is idealization? The answer, the author says, idealization is a process of visualizing or idealizing the plans which will eventually materialize in our objective world. And then number 64 says, why are clearness and accuracy necessary? If you read the book, he talks about how clear and accurate your visualizations need to be. And then he asks this question in the study, guys, why are clearness and accuracy necessary? Because seeing creates feeling, and feeling creates being. Say that again. Seeing creates feeling, and feeling creates being. One more time. Seeing something creates a feeling. When you see something, you feel something. And when you then feel something, you become something. First the mental, then the emotional, then the illimitable possibilities of achievement. Now remember, I talked to you about creating a feeling and controlling your emotional states. This is what I talk about when I start talking about emotional fitness. I do one-on-one sessions and group sessions on emotional fitness. And I think we talked about this in either part 1 or part 2. Once I visualize something, I attach a feeling to it. So when I visualize, I practice the feeling as well. And as long as I can see and feel it, I know I can make it happen. I can bake my prayer into my visual and emotional process. Here's number 65. How are they obtained? The answer is each repeated action renders the image more accurate than the former one. So we practice. Visualization, you want to practice. You want to practice the vision. You want to practice the feeling. You want to practice. You should even have to go to a feeling that helps you when you start to feel sad. So I think I taught on this. I think it was in part 1 or 2. When you start to have a certain emotional feeling that you don't like, you have to be able to take yourself to the right emotional state, just like that. Okay. One of the things that I do in my one-on-one emotional intelligence and money psychology sessions is that I help you to develop a customized emotion that you will practice accessing on demand. And this emotional cause will produce a desired effect. But you got to have a go-to emotion so that when you're triggered by things that happen around you, you can get yourself out of it by going to a certain emotion. And I help you to develop that personalized emotional state for yourself. Number 66. How is the material for your construction, for the construction of your mental image secured? Number 66 says, how is the material for your construction, for the construction of your mental image secured? This is what the author says, by millions of mental workers, brain cells they are called. The lessons, we study as Muslims taught us that our thoughts travel at the average rate of 24 billion miles per second. How far forward can we go with a few seconds of good, solid thinking? But how big of a mental deficit can we create with a few minutes of poor, lazy, and negative thinking and behavior? Make sure that you're not creating a mental deficit. You don't want to take one step forward and 10 steps back. We must control our mind and our thinking so that we produce forward momentum. Because just as fast as we can propel ourselves forward, we can push ourselves back just as fast. Number 67 says, how are the necessary conditions for bringing about the materialization of your ideal in the objective world secured? And it says it's secured by the law of attraction, the natural law by which all conditions and experiences are brought about. Number 68, this one I love. I love this one. Number 68 says, what 3 steps are necessary in order to bring this law into operation? Step 1, you must have an earnest desire. Step 2, you must have confident expectation. And step 3, you must have a firm demand. Now, let me touch on this a bit. Let me touch on this a little bit. Y'all all right? I see y'all in the chat having good conversation. I love it. All right, let me touch on this a bit. I did a show on my Mind of an Entrepreneur radio show that is posted on my Anchor podcast site. You can go to my Anchor page. You can listen to some of those old shows. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this page here. And on that particular show that's posted there up on Anchor, I think it's also on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, I unpacked the concept of desire. Somebody type the word desire in the chat. Some of us are so disrespectful towards our desires because we are so accustomed to not getting what we want. So we don't expect anything. And we don't move with intention because we don't believe it's going to happen anyway. We want it, but we don't believe it. So we live in a disappointed vibrational state and we have a grudge against God. Other times we are disrespectful because our thoughts are so warped, thus making our desires warp. So the first strategic step is to have an earnest desire. A desire is a strong feeling or wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. When we call a desire earnest, that means resulting from or showing sincere and intense conviction. A conviction is a firmly held belief or opinion. This is important. That's why I told you that when you feel insecure, don't get lost in the details. Stay general. Tell yourself, it's possible. I know all it takes is a wink and a nod from Allah. This is nothing for the God I serve. Whatever I want is nothing for him. These are firm beliefs that I know I can hold on to that will lead me towards the second step, which is confident expectation. Expect that what you want will happen. Many of us spiritual people have a hard time with this one. I move into this step by simply thanking God ahead of time. I make really clear gratitude prayers, even if what I want has not yet happened. I keep thanking him until what I'm working on comes into fruition, or until something better comes along, or until I see that I was asking for something that wasn't right and he gives me something better. But I keep myself in a gratitude frequency. That gives me the firm mental space from which I make my request. A demand is just an insistent request. Number 69, how do many of us fail? That's what the author asked. How do many of us fail? And the answer is because we concentrate on loss. We concentrate on disease. We concentrate on disaster. The law is operating perfectly. The things we fear are coming from us and our excessive focus on them. Remember, what we focus on manifests. So if we keep concentrating and focusing on loss, we keep focusing on disease, we keep focusing on disaster, what are we producing? Okay. Number 70 says, what is the alternative? The answer is concentrate on the ideals that you desire to see manifested in your life. Concentrate on what you want. Don't entertain what you don't want. Concentrate on what you want. Focus on what you want. Don't do it because somebody else got it. Don't do it because somebody told you to do. Do it because it's what you want. I'm so focused a lot of times on what it is that I want that oftentimes is interesting. You talk to people and they start using deceptive intelligence to justify their stance on things. And so they start trying to push you to believe the way they believe. They start trying to, you having a conversation with them and they start interpreting what you're saying using their language. And it's got like a little negative slant to it. And I'm like, nope, nope. All right, y'all. Now, here's what the author gave us for homework this week. Y'all ready for the homework? Tell me in the chat if you are ready in the homework for the homework. And also say yes or give me a thumbs up in the chat if you've liked and subscribed to the page. Here's the homework for part 7. Okay. Part 7 of the book, The Master Key System. And I'm going to read it exactly to you the way the author wrote it. Here's the homework. For your exercise this week, visualize a friend. See him or her exactly as you last saw them. See the room, the furniture, recall the conversation. Once you do that, now see their face. See it distinctly. Now talk to them about some subject of mutual interest. See their expression change, watch their smile. Mind you, you're doing this in your vision. You're doing this visually. You're talking to your friend, like the author is saying, you're doing this visually. Can you do this? I think you can. Then, as you're having that conversation, see their interest in what you're talking about arouse. Tell them a story or an adventure, and then visualize their eyes lighting up with the spirit of fun or excitement. You can do this if you're looking to sell something. If you're a salesperson, visualize people buying from you. Visualize yourself going to the bank, making the deposit, or logging on to your banking system and seeing your balance. Visualize people handing you the money for your product or service. Visualize your clients. Visualize the number of people who want to work for you. And when you visualize those people, see their faces, see the effect that you have on those faces, see the effect that you have on them in their faces. If you're inventing a product, see yourself holding that product in your hand. See yourself looking at that product. You want a house? See yourself in that house. You want a new car? See yourself driving a new car. You want a new car? See yourself go into your garage, get into your new car, back out of the garage in your new car, drive down the street in your new car, pull up at your job in your new car in your mind. You ought to be doing this before you even go try to buy the car. All right. Let me know in the chat how you've been liking the series. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if it's helping you. These kind of things you have to work at. It's one of these things you never finish. You never, ever get it done. All right. And remember not to chip and dip me. Make a donation. Cash App, $, MOEToday. Thank you, Brother Kevin, for the thumbs up. This is where you can make your donation. And I'm giving you information that people are paying thousands of dollars for. My industry is giving me a hard time. But I understand that many of us are not at the point where we can afford to pay $500, $5,000, $50,000 for these types of courses. That's what people are out here charging, and folks are paying it. So give what you can, but keep the flow of energy open. Don't approach this like you stole something and you got to go hide in the basement with it. This is about creating an energy flow or a frequency flow with money and manifestation. And in order to receive, we must learn to give. I want everybody to say, I'm in the receptive mode. So don't steal. Don't go, I'm get this knowledge and I'm going to put it in my pocket and I'm out of here. Don't approach Self-improvement like a thief. Approach it like you're open to the flow of money. So whether you give $2, $20, $200, $2,000, $20,000, $200,000, or $2 million, be sure to give. You just received something, so you must give something. Stingy and petty people don't make money. Let me tell you. So open up and flow. And if you have nothing, and even if you have $2 million, what I want you to do is give us a prayer. Give a prayer of prosperity for myself and the others who are taking this class with you. Whatever you do, make sure you give after receiving a gift like this. Always share your rewards. Give a prayer, give a kind word, give $1, $2, give. Okay? Give $100, $1,000, $1 million, but give. Give a good thought, a good word, a good compliment. And you know what I want us to say too? And this is something that I try to practice. Put in your mind of doing something for somebody or loving on somebody even if they didn't ask you to. If you see your brother or your sister and you know they need something, don't wait for them to ask you. Don't wait to be like, well, they ain't saying nothing to me about it. See what you can do for them. There's somebody that you know in your life that needs something. They might just need a hug. They might just need a prayer. They might just need you to hold the door open for them. They might need $50, and you know they need $50. They might need a cup of sugar. They might need some food. They might need an encouraging word. But get in the habit of giving and flowing. Be in the receptive mode. All right? So thank you, and don't chip and dip me. Tune in right here next week. In conjunction with Chapter 8, we will explore the mind of a conqueror as we do for self. Because people who do for self, entrepreneurs, we have to be conquerors. We have to be pioneers. All right? I'll see you all Saturday, inshallah, for the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talk, where we talk about life, love, and business. And to get announcements, join my mailing list. I call it the Sajdah Circle of Winners. All you have to do is text "do for self," that's DO the number 4 SELF to 855-574-9099. And if you have not gotten your pendant to support the renovation and the restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, make sure you get yours. Get your commemorative coin, get your pendant. Let's learn to finance our freedom, and let's finance our own movement. Okay? Let's not wait. Let's not sit back and go, man, it sure would be nice if somebody would change our story. It sure would be nice if somebody would buy that house. Let's do it ourselves. Let's get up and do for self. Let's stop asking other people to do for us what we can do for ourselves. So thank you all. I wish you all more goodness and more joy than you have ever experienced or imagined. I send you all good energy for love, prosperity, and I just pray for the very, very best for each and every one of you all. I think, would you guys like if maybe we have one session, maybe not next week, or if you guys want to be next week, but if we take a break from the chapters and we have a session during our manifestation series where you all just ask questions, let me know in the chat if you would like that. Don't say that and then y'all don't show up with no questions. If you'd like that, say something in the chat and we can plan on that. Next week, we're going to talk about the mind of a conqueror is what we're going to talk about next week, inshallah. So let's make sure that we're ready and prepared for that. I'll give the homework assignment out, so stay close. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and make sure you like and subscribe to this page so you see the videos when we put them up. So, all right, family, peace and blessings. Enjoy your Thursday. Happy Thursday. And don't chip and dip me. All right. Peace and blessings, family. I'm going to end the session now. Love you all. Tune in next week.